Shall we start?
Yes, sir, sure.
Okay, sir. With respect to the discourse, we will discuss about the animal welfare issues, but with respect to the livelihood and the security of the animals. With respect to animal welfare practices and what are the practices we should follow, and also uh, what are the different measures with respect to the management aspect to be taken care with respect to the animal welfare, because we have the different methods of managing the animals or practicing the rearing practices. So we should go for different forms of managemental practices. That's why we have to go with the different management of practices so that it will avoid the um, injuries or any other ailments to the animals. Uh, can you see the screen?
Yes, yes, sir. It's visible.
Okay. That means we will be discussing about this course, that is animal welfare practice in the livelihood. And here, if we go with the animal welfare means, that means how the animal will cope up with the existing situation or the condition where it lives. That means because the animal is in a particular place where it is in a shed or some other place, that means how it cope up with respect to its condition, with respect to the different aspects. That is what the important aspect of this animal welfare means. And usually, whenever the animal is in good situation or in welfare situation, means it should be healthy and it should be comfortable and it should be well nourished. That means the nutritional aspect should be taken into consideration and it should be free from diseases, it should be free from the different ailments, injuries, and other things. And it should express its innate, that means natural behavior or genetic behavior of the particular animal. That is what is most important. And it should not be suffering from any type of unpleasant states like stress, pain, or fear should not be there. Given the animal is under stress or distress, then it is not in a welfare situation. Or if at all there is animal is in fear situation also, then also it is against the welfare of the animal. That means when we call it as a animal is in welfare situation means it should be healthy, comfortable, and should be well nourished and safe, and it should express its natural behavior, and it should not be suffering from the any unpleasant situations or unpleasant forms of pain or distress or other thing. There are five freedoms that has to be taken into consideration when we call it as a animal welfare. That is when we uh, there are certain things that has to be free from the animals, or it should be freedom of some of the aspect. That is five freedoms we can call it as. That is the animal should be freedom from the hunger and thirst. That means there should not be any hunger and thirst for the animals, and it should be freedom from the express of normal behavior. That means it should express its normal behavior. That means it should not be tied, it should not be kept in cages, so that it should not be uh, expressing its natural behavior or normal behavior. And freedom from fear and distress. That means whenever the animal are kept in captivity, whenever they are uh, frightened, then automatically they will be under fear. That should not be there in order to call it as freedom. And next freedom is that is freedom from the pain, injury, and diseases. That is also one of the important things. Whenever the animal is falls ill or it is distressed in situation or whether it is injured, it has to be taken care of well and it should be treated well in advance, well, so that it should not suffer much after the injury or after the disease, so that it will come back to the normal situation. And the freedom from the discomfort. That means discomfort means whenever the animals are kept in a captivity, whenever they are kept in a places where it is not congenial for the particular animal, or the environment is not so good, where the ventilation is not good, the lighting is not good, means automatically they feel discomfort. Or whenever different species are kept in single place also, they feel discomfort. That means these are the five freedoms we take into consideration whenever we go for the uh, animal welfare. That means whenever the animals are free from all these five aspects, that is freedom from the that is hunger and thirst, and whenever it expresses natural behavior, whenever it is free from the fears and distress, and whenever it is free from pain, injury, disease, or discomfort, then we can call it as animal is in a welfare situation. That means these are the different things. What are the different indicators that we can call it as animal is in not in a animal welfare situation or not in a welfare situation, or which are in distress situation or some other um, uncomfortable situation means there are different indicators that will provide us that these animals are not in a welfare situation. In such cases, there are different aspects. One is the behavioral, and the next one is physical and physiological, and the production aspect. These are the different indicators we can consider so that the animals we can get whether the animal is in a welfare situation or not. That is first and foremost thing is the behavioral indicators we should consider in order to call it as animal is in welfare situation. That is bar biting, tongue rolling, eye rolling, beaming, tail waiting, cross sucking, cross. These are the different voices we can call. That is abnormal behavior of the animal. That is the whenever the animal is in welfare situation, they will be not doing these different behavioral activities. That means these indicators show that animal is in not in a welfare situation. Apart from these behavioral indicators, there are physical indicators. The physical indicators are whenever there is an injury or abscess formation in case of the cows or other animals, especially in case of cows we can see, and also the swelling of joints also you can see, and the hair loss. So this, whenever these type of ailments are seen in animals, then also they are not in a welfare situation. These are the indicators. These are the indicators that show that animal is in not in welfare situation. Apart from this physical, there are physiological situations where we can consider that animal is not in a welfare situation, like whenever there is increased cortisol content and reduced feed intake or immune suppression and altered adrenal activity of the animals. These are all the different indicators of physiological indicators that say that animal is not in a animal welfare situation. And production aspect. Whenever coming to the production, always in any case of dairy animals, usually we prefer to go for a high yielding dairy animals, and people are obsessed to go for more of production aspect and more to gain more economy or more money, and automatically the animals are put under the stress. That's why the even the animal is under stress means again automatically it leads to the impaired growth or it leads to the reduced body weight or impaired reproduction we can see in case of dairy animals more commonly, and reduced milk production. These are all the again the production indicators that depict that the animal is not in a welfare situation. That means these are the different four indicators we can consider that the animal is under distress condition or not in a normal condition or not in a welfare situation. These are the different indicators we can consider that the animal is not in a welfare situation. In order to curb these different indicators or in order to come up with these different aspects, we can go for the different aspect of management of practices with respect to the animals. That is uh, different managemental standards, that is welfare standards, we can go for the dairy animals. That is, one is the breeding and husbandry, and the next one is
ठीक
also
है
feeding and health care, and the goshalas. These are the different minimum welfare standards one should follow with respect to the dairy animals so that we can restore the welfare situation for the animals. We will go one by one with respect to these different things. First and foremost thing is minimum standards of well breeding standards, and usually when we call it as breeding,
650 कर पड़ेगा 650
the breed of the cows and buffaloes to be selected for dairy farming must be similar
नीचे नीचे से पड़ा है
local agro climate conditions. The selection of animals also play an important role, and also breeding of animals
एक मिनट
with respect to the different geographical locations, because some of the animals will adapt for the only some of the regions. For example, the crossbred animals like HF and Jersey will be they will sustain in case of uh, colder climates than that of the hotter climates. That means like that we should consider the selection of animals based on the agroclimatical genes and also breeding purpose. And whenever we are going with the breeding and genetic improvement of these selected animals, always it should be appropriate for the physiological condition of the animals as well as behavioral of the particular animals. Whenever the physiological aspect as well as behavioral aspect of the animals is changed, then automatically it leads to the impairment of health condition and also it leads to impairment of the welfare. That means always we should whenever we go for breeding purpose, we should consider that it should not affect the physiological and behavioral aspect of the animals in the breeding situation, so that the welfare of the animals can be restored. And another important aspect with respect to the breeding is whenever we go for crossbreeding, especially we crossbreed the animals with the exotic breeds or the hybrid varieties of animals. The level of exotic inheritance in case of crossbreeding of local cows in to improve the milk production or for any other purpose, it should not be more than the scientifically recommended level. That is 62.5%. That is what's recommended in case of non-restricted cattle, and also must not compromise the health and the welfare of the, and also longevity. Longevity means that is how much is the years of life the animal will live. That means these are all the different aspects that should be considered whenever you go for maintaining the welfare aspect, whenever you go for breeding of the animals. And what are the good practices for the breeding of different species of animals? First and foremost thing is practices for the breeding of crossbred animals. That means we will rear the animals, especially crossbred animals, will be reared in different situations. That is one is semi-intensive method, where some of the period will be animals are raised outside, and some of the period will be kept inside the sheds or the stalls, and they will fed inside the stalls for some period. That means that is semi-intensive method, or exclusively intensive method, where the animals are reared under stall feeding only. They will not be let out for the grazing purpose outside the stall or the shed. That is the two systems we follow in case of Indian situation with respect to the animal rearing. And in case of semi-intensive purpose, whenever we go for breeding in case of semi-intensive form of rearing of animals, the exotic inheritance should be restricted to 62.5% or less. That is what I told you. That means the inheritance of the exotic breed should be less than 62.5%. That is, F1 generation of the crossbred female can be crossed with the superior germplasm of crossbred males having the inheritance of 50 to 75%. That is what the breeding policy or breeding methodology that can be used for the restricting the inheritance of the exotic genetic material with respect to the animals to maintain the welfare of the animals. And usually the breed of choice for the crossbreeding in case of Indian situation is the HF cows, and HF and the Jersey can be used. HF for the irrigated males or the irrigated areas, whereas Jersey can be used for the coastal as well as hot areas. We can use it can be for breeding purpose. And in case of intensive production system, where the animals are kept in stalls exclusively, they are fed on the different feeding practices only under stall system without leaving the animals for grazing purpose outside. Here also the exotic inheritance can be kept between 62.5% to 75%. We can that much of inheritance can be followed for crossbreeding purpose, because why the inheritance is requirement, the physiological aspect as well as the behavioral aspect of the animals should be taken into consideration before going for the breeding purpose. That's why the whenever the exotic inheritance is more, means automatically the physiological aspect as well as the production aspect will be more. Automatically they are under stress, and also they may not adapt to the particular geographical climate. Whenever they are in the intensive production system, automatically they are not come out of the sheds, means automatically they will not be coming into the different climatic conditions like sunlight or hot and humid conditions, where they are maintained inside the sheds. That's why the inheritance can be little bit higher than that of the semi-intensive system. And usually males with the exotic inheritance of same 50 to 75% of the can be produced through the intersemating, so that it will sustain the exotic level of inheritance between the 62.5% to 75%. That means always the exotic, whenever we are going with the crossbreeding of animals with the exotic area, the inheritance should be 62.5% in case of semi-intensive. In case of intensive production system, it should be 55.5 to 75%. And here also breed of choice is similar to that of the semi-intensive system. That is HF for the irrigated areas, whereas Jersey for the hilly terrain and the coastal areas we can use. With Jersey animals are more resistant to the different climatic conditions than that of the HF cows, because HF cattle are higher yielder than that of the Jersey cattle. Whenever the animals are high yielding animals, automatically they are under more stress compared to that of the less yielding animals. Uh, Another important thing with respect to breeding is the semen of the exotic bulls of higher transmitting ability of the can be used for the milk yield or any other purposes. That is always the semen that is used for the insemination of animals for upgradation of the cattle from the exotic bulls can be used. That exotic bulls pedigree should be taken into consideration, where the mother of the exotic bull should be high yielder, or it should give more milk in a lactation, or it should have more fat and other essential content. That is what the criteria one can consider whenever they go for the crossbreeding. And what are the good practices? That is for the crossbred animals. There are different practices that can be practiced with respect to the animal welfare. There is practices for breeding indigenous cows. Here, indigenous cows are the dual purpose, where it is used for the draught purpose as well as for the milk purpose. That can be genetically improved to the high pedigree and highly genetically improved bulls or the proven bulls breeds that is appropriate for the particular breeding type of different Indian cattle, that is Javis cattle breeds, you can say. There is, if you see different cattle breeds, if you take example for the Karnataka is known for the Haldikar breeds and the small breeds. Those are the breeding tracts of some of the areas of the Karnataka where they can be improved, taking into consideration of their geographical location and their breeding tract, so that we can improve the production aspect with respect to those animals. And whenever you go for genetically improvement of this indigenous or the genetic of this, it is expected that there will be an improvement of 1 to 1.5% of milk production per annum with respect to the different breeding policies. That is, we should go for F1 generation, then we should make the superior germplasm that of the F1 generation. Again, the 1 to 1.5% of the improvements in milk production to be seen per annum with respect to this indigenous. And what are the policies, practices that can be taken into consideration for the breeding buffaloes? That is, here selective breeding is most commonly. That is, selective breeding is where the genetic or the high-yielding animal, high-yielding male and female animals or high genetic animals will be taken into consideration for the breeding purpose, so that more progeny can be produced. And here the selective breeding can be done to strengthen the genetic improvement in case of the buffalo breed. Usually, genetically superior bulls will be used for the collection of semen as well as for the uh, artificial insemination in case of buffaloes. Here also, like that of the indigenous cattle, here also we can expect 1 to 1.5% of the improvement in the milk production per annum that can be achieved in the organized farms, where the crossbreeding will be taken care of every year or every next generation, so that the improvement can be brought about in the particular buffalo breed. So what are the different breed of choice with respect to the buffaloes? In some of the areas like Gujarat, Rajasthan, and Karnataka, the Swift is the breed of choice where they will go for breeding and upgradation of the animals, whereas Haryana, Punjab, and Western UP, they are going with the Burra animals. And some of the parts of Punjab, they are also going with the needy ravi that needs to be upgraded or improved with respect to the production. That means these are all the breed of choice that is taken into consideration for breeding purpose in case of these states. And whenever we consider as genetic improvements through the upgradation of different animals like buffaloes or Indians, then we should consider that there should be high milk production, and it needs to be reduced age of maturity and reduced service speed and dry period and calming interval also will be reduced, so that automatically the economic aspect will be improved with respect to the farmers or the animal rearers. That means automatically whenever we cross the animals or whenever we go for upgrading of the animals or crossbreeding of the animals, means automatically the production increases, the different parameters with respect to the production also improves, and also the intercoming period also decreases, so that it is beneficial for the farm. And that is with respect to the different breeding practices that needs to be followed. Next, we go with the husbandry practices that need to be taken into consideration with respect to the animal welfare. In case of organic practices, in case of dairy animals, first it should start from the calf management, next to heifer management, calving management, lactating animals, and the milking animals, and milking management, and the dry cow management. That means these are all the series of activities that will be uh, that happens in case of the dairy practices or in case of dairy farms. For which the first and foremost thing is the crop management, where it is most important. If we manage the crop well or if we take care of the crops in a better manner, automatically it will become a good cow or a superior cow in a future generation, where you can get more of profit or more production from the particular cow or a beef. That means here there are different standards or the minimum standards that should be taken into consideration whenever you go for crop management. So the cows must be housed in a clean and dry condition with the proper bedding material. That is, bedding material is most important thing because the young cows cannot um, sleep on the floor or it cannot sleep on the concrete floor where it leads to the aberrations or any other thing. That means where again it is again as the welfare of the animal, and they should be given a proper bedding material, clean and dry material, and they must be within the sight of the other animals. That means these cows must be kept within the sight of other animals. It may be kept beside the other cow pen or it may be kept beside the dam or the cow, so that because the animals also, the cattle and buffalo, all the animals are, they require socialization or they require the social life where they would like to see the other animals. They would have exchange of different aspects with respect to the other animals. So the animals, that's why the cows can be kept in pairs or they can be kept in groups so that they will have the social stability with respect to their living, and that is the most important aspect one should consider. Apart from this, whenever the calf is born, immediately the navel cord should be cut and it has to be treated with the tincture iodine, and the mucus should be removed from the nostrils, and all the mucus that is there on the calf immediately after birth should be cleaned with the dry cloth or the dry gunny bag so that the calf can be kept clean, and also it will help to get up early for the uh, drinking of colostrum. That means, and once the calf is born within 1 or 2 hours, the calf is allowed for sucking the colostrum. That means colostrum should be fed because colostrum consists of so many immunoglobulins that will help the calf to fight against the different diseases or attacks. It will improve the immunity of the calf. That means that is most important thing that should be taken into consideration whenever we go for calf management. That means, and apart from that, the mutilations, that is any form of operations or any form of changes with respect to the animals or any form of modifications with respect to the animal body should be kept minimum. Mutilation means that is modifications with respect to the animal body should be kept minimum. Like the branding or tail docking, de-arming should be not be done because these are all the things that will always lead to pain to the cow, which is against the welfare aspect. That means if at all you want to go for identification of the animals, means you can go for tattooing or you can go for the neck band or other things which is not uh, causing any pain or any other illness to the animal. If disbudding is necessary, it should be done with the as early as possible. That is within 2 weeks that can be done. That is disbudding, so that the along with the pain relief you should do. That means the because whenever you go for disbudding, yeah, iron rod or any other method of disbudding, it causes pain. So if at all it has to be done means then the pain relief should be used with respect to the animals. Uh, so that it will take care of the welfare standard for them. These are all the different mutilations that is usually people will do in case of the animals, where you can see the tail docking and also the disbudding of the animal and banding, and these are all the, and also you can see the de-arming also in case of adult animal also. All these are against the welfare of the animals. That is, it will affect the welfare status of the animal. And Al- apart from that, with respect to the crop management, we should take adequate precautionary measures with respect to the health condition of the animal because Usually cows will suffer from some of the common diseases or common ailments like the navel is most common case of transplant cows and diarrhea, the spores, and also the respiratory infection is most common. These things should be taken into consideration. In order to control these things, required medications or the vaccinations can be taken into consideration with respect to the cows so that it cannot affect from this type of ailment. And if they have to be housed singly with respect to the cows, only whenever they are in a disease situation, they can be housed in a single pen or a single cow pen, so that they should have proximity to the other cows, where the other cows may be affected with the diseases or some other things, but at least the animals which is housed singly, they should see the other animals because they also require the social life. That's why always they should not feel lonely, not our loneliness. Then we should keep the animals which is affected with the disease, not only cows, any animal that is affected with the disease has some other condition in vicinity to the other animals where it can see the other animals from a distance, so that though no disease can be contacted the other animal which is healthy on the other side. So even if at all they feel loneliness means animals, that is also against the welfare standards of the animals. And once these things are taken into consideration, feeding is one of the important tasks which should be considered in case of calf management, where you can feed the supplement grains under after 1 week of age, and later you can start the feeding of concentrates after 20 days or a month, because human is not developed till the 20 days or 30 days of after the birth. And the concentrate mixture can be given at the rate of 1 kg per day, 100 kg body weight of the cow, so that the body weight can be better and also the growth can take place. Apart from that, you can practice the deworming of the cows so that there will not be affections from the different worms or infestation from the worms with respect to the cows. Especially this is most neglected aspect in case of the field situation where the farmers will not go for deworming of cows, that leads to the pot belly condition, automatically death of the cows. This is most common form of death we can see in case of cows. That is the thing we should consider. Deworming is one of the things where we can avoid the loss of animals or loss of cows to the farmers, where the welfare also taken into consideration. Apart from that, the drinking water should be provided in the cow, cow pen, so that the drinking water should be clean and it should be provided throughout the day, so that whenever it is required, it can go for drinking the water. And so whenever we want to have a numbers for the animal, or how we can identify the cause, if at all the branding is against the welfare or some other thing is against the welfare, then we can go for ear tagging or the tagging, where it is not so painful for the animals. You can apply the tag to the ears, or you can go for tattooing, or you can go for neck bands also available nowadays that can be used. And usually the numbering of cows and removal of extra tips, if any. Some of the times the female cows will have extra tips, 5 or 6, 7 like that. That's been done in few weeks of life, that is early stages of life, so that whenever the cough grows, automatically the pain evidences will be more. That's why all these things should be taken care of in the early stages or the few weeks of the life. That is, even discarding also that should be done in 15 days of the after the cough. And this is with respect to the cough management. Next we go with respect to the management of the EFOS. Once the cough is management, the next stage is the EFOS. The EFOS management is one of the important things. That means first and foremost thing, housing is should be proper for the EFOS. That means the EFOS should be protected from the different inclement weather conditions like rainfall, hot weather conditions, or the cold weather conditions. And the floor or the housing should be proper with a proper bedding material and a non-slippery flooring. These are all the different things that needs to be considered in order to maintain the welfare of the EFOS. And apart from that, the EFOS should be kept in groups. Yeah, I told you that the social life of the animals is also important. And usually, whenever we are managing the animals in group, automatically we can keep the animals on the EFOS in different age groups, or based on the body weight also we can segregate those EFOS and we can keep the inputs based on the age or body weight, so that management of the animals will be better. The feeding will be done based on the body weight condition or the age, that can be taken care of in a proper manner. That is for the feeding strategy. And always we should provide the good quality of green fodder and straw and supplemented with the concentrate. So that is the feeding of concentrate is also very much important along with the mineral supplements, because as the ether is growing automatically different organs, especially reproductive organs, will be going going to develop. If at all it is undernutrition or malnutrition means automatically the reproductive system may not be developed properly, where it leads to the delayed puberty and delayed process of all the reproduction, especially in case of the people. That's why it should be fed optimum of green products and the stars, and also the concentrates also important with respect to the ethos. And the dry matter intake for the ethos will be about 2% of the body weight per day. It should be provided to the animal.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Your voice is not clear. Sir,
Okay, madam.
sir, your voice is not clear.
Okay, okay. Now we can hear.
Yes, yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, okay. And the dry matter intake is about 2% of the body weight per day. That is what the thumb rule for feeding of the ethos. That is a dry matter basis means, that is just the feeding of beans and the other straws. And growth and body condition of the ethos should be monitored. That is always whenever we are feeding the concentrates along with the green fodder and the dry fodder, this always you should monitor the body condition. What is the amount of growth that is taking place with respect to the ethos? And usually we should ensure that minimum of 500 to 600 gram per day should be the growth rate in case of E4 in order to have a better production life in the future with respect to the E4. That's why we should have a monitoring on the animal growth with respect to the feeding of the E4, so that it will have a better future with respect to the production. And an optimum combination of age and the body weight should be considered with respect to the breeding the ethos. That means how when we can breed the ethos means we should consider two factors. That is the one is the age, that is the age of sexual maturity, and also the body weight. These two things are most important in order to go for breeding of the animals. That is most important. And usually the with respect to the Indian breeds, the smaller breeds of cattle, the 225 to 250 kg, that is what the body weight that is optimum for breeding of these animals. That weight can be attained um, at 22 to 25 months of age. That can be attained if at all the animal is properly maintained or scientifically managed or scientifically fed with the different concentrates. And in case of larger breeds like crossbred and other animals, the body weight should be 275 to 325 kgs at the time of breeding, and this body weight can be achieved at the age of 15 to 18 months. That is what the uh, breeding age and the breeding weight for the different animals, that is for the smaller breeds and the larger breeds. And usually before calving, the pregnant heifer should be trained for the milking purpose by taking them to the milking parlor, because whenever the e-pass are there, automatically sometimes they may not allow you to go for the milking directly after the cow. Then they should be trained before it, it is cowed. Before it is cowed, it has to be trained in the milking parlor. It has to be taken in the milking parlor. If at all you are using the milking machine, you can use the milking machines and you can train them, or you can under massaging for the animals, so that uh, the animal is trained so that you can properly go for milking the animals in the future days. If at all you are not training the animals for the milking purpose, taking into the milking parlor and not massaging the udder, not uh, placing the milking machine to the teeth of the animal before calving. After calving, if at all you go directly for the milking purpose, then automatically it may not allow you to go for milking purpose. That's why these are the important things that needs to be taken into consideration before calving in case of the beef. And once the animal is parturated And during parturition, what are the practices one can follow or one should be followed means, usually if I have a cow that should be moved to the calving area, the calving pen what we can call it as, before 1 week of parturition. That means before 1 week of expected parturition, it has to be segregated from the flock or it has to be segregated from the herd so that it can be kept separately and the feeding practices and the other practices should be taken care of separately for the pregnant animal during the and also after parturition. And usually the if at all the any problems with respect to the parturition or giving birth to the anyone in case of the pose or the e-pulse, whenever the contraction cease for more than 2 hours, then we have to go for the we have to take the assistance of the veterinarians because usually whenever the contraction starts to expel the cough from the cow, then automatically within 2 hours the calving takes place. If it all doesn't take place, means we have to go for taking the assistance of the veterinarians for the removal of the cough. That is, sometimes there may be a obstruction to the uh, expulsion of cough from the particular animal or some other gynecological condition that may hinder. So that in such cases we should take care of the assistance of the veterinarians to uh, restore the welfare aspect of the pregnant animal. And what are the standards that needs to be taken into consideration for the lactating cows and the buffaloes? In case of dairy animals, that is buffaloes as well as the cows, first and foremost in this feeding aspect one should consider, that is balanced nutrition is most important aspect one should consider in order to maintain the proper body condition as well as lactation. That means we should mm, feed the animals in such a way that the body condition is maintained with respect to the animal and also the production will not go down. That is the most important thing. That means here we should usually the thumb rule for the feeding of crossbred animals usually is the animals should be given every 3 kg of milk. We should provide 1 kg of concentrate. That is what the thumb rule one will follow. Today, if the animal is giving about 10 liters of milk, we can use 3 kgs of concentrate. That is what the thing. So that is for production purpose. Apart from that, we should provide the concentrate and the balanced nutrition for the maintenance of the animal body condition. That is most important thing. And once these animals are cowed, automatically after 60 to 90 days after time, they will come for heat again. They may conceive after 3 months, about 3 months, 2 to 3 months of after calving, they may get conceived because but majority of the times the people will not go for insemination and they may not detect the easters with respect to this animal. That means that's why in order to get a proper production, in order to get a proper calving interval, we should go for insemination of the animals between 2 to 3 months after the calving, where the animal will come for eat. That is one of the important things one should consider. And the calving interval in cows should be 12 to 13 months, whereas in case of buffalo should be 13 to 14 months. That is what the important thing that should be kept in mind because in cows the pregnancy period is 9 months, 9 days, whereas in case of buffalo 10 months and 10 days. Take into consideration and again the 2 months after the calving is, this is what the calving interval that will come. This calving interval means the time period between the two calvings is the calving interval. And apart from that, in case of lactating animals, we should go for dry period of at least 2 months. 60 days is compulsory. We should give the dry period. That is, dry period means should not milk the animals for the 60 days. That is 2 months prior to next parturition. That is what that means. Expected next parturition we should consider before going for dry period. We should leave at least 2 months or 60 days of uh, dry period in case of the cows and buffaloes, so that next lactation we will get the better milking or the optimum production. If at all we go on milking the animals till the last days of the parturition is automatically the milk production may go down in the next lactation because we have to give the rest for the lactating cells or the mammary gland so that they have to develop and they should ready for the secretion of milk in the next lactation. And all the healthy animals, that is cows or the buffaloes, they will come into it, as I told you, that is 60 to 90 days after calving. And usually these will remain in heat for 12 to 18 hours, that is the period of they remain in eggs. Some of the animals will remain in eggs for 2 to 3 days whenever they have a hormonal problems or hormonal disorders. In such cases, they may be inseminated twice or thrice in order to make it animal conceive. That means this is one of the important things that is to be considered in order to have a better calling into in case of the dairy. So what are the minimum standards that should be considered with respect to the milking of the animals? And all the milking animals, that is cows and buffalo, should be milked in a separate milking parlor. Service. Here, not only with respect to the clean milk production aspect, the cleanliness with respect to the animal, also hygienic practices should be taken into consideration. And apart from that, the milking utensils should be, and also equipment should be clean. That should be thoroughly cleaned after every milking. That should be sanitized before the next animal comes for the milking in a particular milking uh, area. These are all the different things. Another, if at all somebody is going with the full hand milking means, then that is the better practice. Whenever they go for hand milking, the full hand milking practice should be done, not the knuckling method. One should avoid the knuckling method where it causes pain to the animal, that is especially the udder or the teeth. Again, it is against the welfare standards of the animal. Here you can see the different methods of milking. Full hand milking is most preferred, where it will restore the milk, animal welfare without affecting the udder and the skull anywhere. And while milking the animals, some of the practices one can follow to avoid the mastitis or any other udder problems. That is first and foremost is the pre-dipping, that is pre-dipping of the teeth with the sanitizing solutions such as 0.5% of the iodine can be done for the 30 seconds before milking so that the contamination can be avoided. Or in order to prevent the mastitis after milking also we can go for dipping the teeth, one third of the each teeth in the antiseptic solution so that the germs or the microorganisms cannot enter the teeth. That is what the main intention of this to prevent the mastitis. And that is with respect to the management with respect to the milking. And there are standards for dry cow management. Here, with respect to dry cow management, that is for the 60 days or the 2 months of period of before the next calving. That means when the lactation should be terminated gradually. We cannot abruptly stop the milking with respect to animals. We can terminate the milking through the reducing the feed or the concentrates or by milking less frequently. Then usually people will go for milking the animals twice daily. That can be minimized. That is once daily that can be done for some period of time. After some period, then they can go for once in 2 days. Like that, they can go for frequently reducing or terminating the particular lactation of the animal so that animal will be in a better position. And the cow should be dry for at least 60 days, as we discussed in the earlier slide. And conditioning for the dry period is essential for the last few weeks of lactation. That is, conditioning means before drying the animals for the 60 days, we should start milking the animals for alternate time or alternate days or reducing the feed. Like that we can condition the animal so that the milk production is safe, and also we can go for the uh, giving the proper gap for the next lactation. And cow should not be too fat or too thin at the end of the lactation. At the end of the lactation, whenever we are about to leave for the dry period, the animal should not be too fat, it should not be too thin, it should maintain the optimum body composition. If at all it is too fat means again it leads to the some other complication. If at all it is too thin means again the problems will be arise during the pasteurization as well as after the pasteurization or milk will yield may go down. And protein treatment for the mastitis while drying off is recommended because we are milking alternate days or we are going for milking the animals uh, on different basic frequencies or reducing the feed or the balance situation means we should go for, there are chances that there will be attack of the mastitis because of the abrupt milking of the animals. Automatically, if at all any chance of occurrence of the mastitis that can be treated at a immediate effect so that the animal is not so affected. And usually the dry cows should be kept separate from the milking herd with plenty of exercise, plenty of space for the exercise. Because if at all they may go in the other animals or the heifer animals which are bred, which are pregnant animals. That means the dry cows should not be kept with the milking cows. That should be kept in the with the pregnant animals or any other animals. And with respect to this breeding management and the husbandry practices, uh, what we have learned from this particular aspect is that we have got lot of animal species, that is cattle and buffalo breeds in our country, and majority of the times we tend to go for production oriented management of animals. That means we have to go for more production to get the more gain or more income. Means automatically we are putting the animals under stress or distress situation, which is against the welfare condition of the animals. That means to ensure this the welfare of the animals, the breeding was for the different breeds of cows and buffalo should be to not compromise their health and behavior. That is to be taken care of before going for breeding. Apart from that, in order to improve the production efficiency of the animals, like crossbreeding, upgrading, and uh, feeding of so many unwanted things to the animals, it leads to automatically production stress. The production stress is also against the uh, welfare of the animals. That means that should be avoided. Usually, we should maintain the optimum uh, management practices with respect to the animals. And the cows and the heifers should be fed to manage the growth of the desired rates, that is 500 to 600 grams per day, what we have discussed, without compromising their welfare needs and the behavioral aspect. That is also one of the things. With respect to the lactating cows, uh, we should feed the animals for the milk production as well as for the maintenance of the body condition of the particular animal or the particular species, and they should be kept in a separate housing pattern so that they will have a optimum environment or a optimum condition for the production. And with respect to the buffaloes and the indigenous cows, then in case of lactating animals, we can allow the cows to suckle the milk so that is the reflex that is most important in case of the buffaloes and the indigenous cows. If at all there is no calf reflex, if at all the calf doesn't suckle milk, it will not lay down the milk. That is the most common problem. That's why here we can use the cows to suckle the milk so that the milk letdown can be seen in case of these two species of animals. So that it is good for the animal and also to the cow. Now we can maintain the welfare of the both the cow and as well as the cow, because cow requires to suckle the milk. That is a natural or innate behavior of the cow, that is to suckle the milk directly from the udder of the animal. And the milking should be carried out under the total sanitary condition. That means clean milk production should be followed. The animal should be hygienically clean, and the udder should be cleaned properly, and it should be dried before milking. We should not use any oil or some other thing to milk the animal. Always you should go for the full hand milking, not the knuckling method or stripping method, which is against the welfare standards of the animal. This is apart from that, if at all we practice all these things what we have discussed in these earlier slides, automatically it will assure or ensure the five freedoms of animals so that the welfare status of the animals can be maintained. But the thing is that people are not aware of the welfare of the animals and also welfare being of the animals, and the implementation of these practices will automatically improve the productivity of the animals. Also, its condition will be better, and it will also maintain the welfare of the animals. Automatically, whenever the productivity improves, automatically we can go for we will have the profitable dairy farming or the dairy business. That is what the important is. That means all these practices are most important to sustain the animal welfare. That is five freedoms of animal. That is with respect to the breeding management as well as the husbandry management with respect to the animal welfare. Now we go with the minimum welfare standards with respect to housing. We have we have completed the breeding and also the management practices with respect to the cows, heifers, and the lactating animals and also the milking animals. Here we discuss about the housing of dairy cattle. And usually in case of Indian situation, there are two systems usually people will follow with respect to the dairy housing, that is loose housing and the tie stalls. In case of loose housing, animals are left free in the paddock area where the common shelter place will be there for the animals, and also feeding area and the water drinking area will be there where they can stay, where that will protect the animal from the sunlight or the any rainfall. That is common area for the animals. They will not be tied. They will be left open in the particular area. They can walk freely. They will have a ample amount of exercise, and they are healthy. Whereas another system is there, that is tie stall system, where the animals are tied with the rope or a chains. In case of different farming forms, in case of tie stall system, we will have two systems of housing. That is a tied system and the tied system. That means the welfare of the dairy cattle depends upon the uh, not only housing system but also management of this housing system, because housing system also should be managed. If at all the housing system is good, if at all it is not cleaned properly, if at all the measures for cleaning of the house is not proper, means automatically it is against the welfare also. It is also against the welfare. Usually the housing systems and other farm structures should be designed, and after the design or planning, it should be constructed, and it should be managed and maintained. That means majority of the times the people will construct the shed and they will design, they will construct, but maintenance is the most important thing that should be taken into consideration for the animal welfare. That is, in order to achieve the five freedoms, in order to achieve the welfare for the animals, the housing should be proper with the different um, requirements, that is floor space requirement or the ventilation requirement or light requirement, that should be taken into consideration. First, we'll avoid the loose housing system where it will have different aspects to be considered. Here, the animals are kept close in an open paddock, as I told you, in groups, that is 40 to 50, throughout day and night, except some specific purposes. That means, except some specific purposes means whenever the animal is injured, whenever the animal is cowed or given birth to young one, then only they were kept separately. Otherwise, they will be kept in a common area, that is 40 to 50 members. That is what the closed housing system is. Here, there will be a separate housing structures will be there for the calf pens, milking wells, and also the calving pens for the mothers, and also bull pens will be there if at all it is required in a particular system. This is closed house system, but only specific group of animals will have a specific pens, except that the animals will be kept in the open paddock, and there will be a common feeding place will be there, drinking place will be there, and also the shelter will be there, protect from the sunlight and the rainfall also. And so that is the important aspect. And this is this low housing system is ideal for the areas where the rainfall is low. Such areas you can go for low house system, because whenever the rainfall is low, means they can sustain in the open areas also. Whenever the rainfall is more, then we can go for the intensive form of housing system. And it is low housing system is cheaper to construct. Thus, there are advantages of this low housing system, that is cheaper to construct, and we can expand in a short period of time. And usually it is more congenial and efficient to manage, because the animals are kept in open systems. Management of the animals is easier, the cleaning and other things. It is not so labor intensive compared to that of other systems, and also less prone to the different others like fire hazards and other things, because they are kept open places. Even though there is a fire hazard, they can run around and they can uh, escape from the hazards. And in case of clean milk production also, this housing system is most important, because whenever the animals are tied in the sheds, automatically they will, if it is not clean means, they may sleep on the dung or urine that is already there. Automatically it leads to the mastitis problem and other problems. That is what the important. Low housing system is better compared to that of the other system. This is the low house system layout, where the animals are having the roofing as well as feeding trough and the water trough, and there will be a slope will be there whenever there is a expulsion of dung or urine that will go to the drain. This is the plan for the loose house. And next one is the close or tie housing. In this system, animals are tied at one place throughout the life or throughout the different stages, and milking and other routine operations are connected with the dairy animals are carried out at the same place. Right? Here the animals are tied in that place, they will feed the animals there and they will provide the water, drinking water, and also they will milk the animals in the particular place itself. They will not be allowed for any other place. This is one of the conventional closed system where it will provide the protection in case of winter season, or it will protect the animals from the rains. And if compared to the open system or the loose system, here the floor space requirement is less and the construction cost is more. There, the floor space requirement is high, the construction cost is less in terms of the closed house system. Here, as I told you, the closed housing, in this, there are two types of designs we can go for dairy animals. There is tight to tile system and also the face to face, which is called as head to head system. That means both the systems are having the advantages with respect to the management of dairy animals. Here you can see this is the tail to tail system of housing, where you can see the animals. There is tail to tail system is whenever the animals are tied, the tail of the other animals will be facing the opposite of other animals' tail. That is what the tail to tail system, where you can walk around the animals, seeing all the hindquarters of the animals. That is what the tail to tail system is. And this is the cross-section view of the planning. How should be the animal standing area and what is the major space, what is the feeding space, what is the overhang that should be taken into consideration. This is for the different number of animals. Now, what are the advantages of this system? The tail-to-tail system. The cleaning and milking is having the greater advantage because the dung and urine that will be collected in a particular drainage, both the sides easily that can be cleaned because in a common place we can collect the dung and urine, and milking can be carried out in the same point of time in a single area. And here lesser danger of spread of disease because they are kept in a different places. The ventilation will be better, more fresh air can come from the outside. So the lesser danger of spread of diseases as there is no exchange of respiration or there is no exchange of the uh, different contents also because they will be feeding in a different places, they will be standing in a different places, and there will not be exchange of the respiration, which is respiration will not be contaminated to the other animals. Then chances of spread of disease are lesser compared to that of the peptide system. Here, another important aspect here is that the supervisor of a particular dairy farm or the manager of the dairy farm can inspect the greater number of milkmen. That means whenever milking is going on, they can inspect whether they are milking or not, and also they can inspect the animals from the hindquarters if at all there is any problem with respect to the hindquarters or the udder, whether it is swollen or whether it is affected with anything. All those things can be observed from the backside because udder is the most important thing that is affected in case of dairy animals, where the manager or the supervisor can inspect the animals udder as well as the workers from the single view in the both process. That is the advantage. Another thing is a trade system, that is also called as face-to-face system. You can see the picture here. Here the face-to-face system is the animals will be facing one-to-one in the same manner where the feed and water will be placed in a single trough for the both the sides of the animals. Here there will be chances of spreading of diseases will be more as there will be exchange of contaminated fuel will be there, contaminated water will be there. Chances are more compared to that of earlier. This is the plan. That is how the vector system will be done with respect to that. We can make a separate manger for the different species, leaving the passage in the middle, or we can provide the manger at a central place for the both the sides of the animals. Some of the times, in order to avoid the wastage of passage, some of the people will follow the both the things. Now, what are the advantages with respect to this vector system or the face-to-face system is the cows feel easier to get into the stalls because the system is they can go around and they can easily stand compared to that of the other system. And sun rays or the sunlight will directly fall onto the gutter because here both the sides we can see the heads of the animals will be seen in the center of the particular shed, whereas tails will be seen in the other sides of the both the extremes of the particular shed or the ends of the shed means automatically the sunlight directly passes into the gutter or the drainage where the dung and urine passes. That is also one of the important advantage of this. Where some of the microorganisms may die because of the sunlight that falls onto the particular area. And feeding becomes easier because once they can carry the feed, they can place it on the feeding trough on the both sides at a single point of time. Compared to that of the earlier case, they have to go around to the other feeding trough. And it is better for the narrow birds. Whenever the housing place is less, then they can go for the construction of sheds where the place is less or the area is less, then they can go for this type of fitted system or face-to-face system. There are different minimum standards that needs to be followed while housing the dairy animal. That is the housing system that needs to be taken care of in the floor space for the animals and for the what is the number of animals that can be kept in a different places, what is the floor space requirement, and what is the actual flooring case of dairy animals. Flooring, what should be the flooring type, whether it should be granite, it should be cement or concrete or some other thing, or the animal passages and roads, alleys, and what are the compound walls that needs to be taken consideration whenever we go for housing the animals. That is the standards. That is, whenever we call it as housing system, means most importantly, it should ensure that there should be a adequate climate protection and comfort to the animals. That means there should not be any uh, affection from the sunlight or the rainfall, so that the animal is protected from these things, and so that the animal will be producing the optimum production. It is healthy and also expresses natural behavior. So the next thing is floor space. The adequate floor space for feeding and standing, walking, that is most important to meet the standing and also resting required and also walking and also exercise, feeding, water requirements for the animals is optimum should be there so that the welfare will be respected. So the number of animals in each group of animals in those house system should be not more than the ability of the animal to recognize their hierarchy. Hierarchy means usually whenever the animals are dominant, they will have a more dominant character where there will not be any social stability. Social stability means all the animals will not be all the animals in a particular pen or a particular house in a rural system may have a equal access to the all the feed, fodder, and everything without fighting or without dominance one on the other. That is what the social stability that needs to be taken care of. Whenever we place the same age group of animals or same body weight animals, automatically this social stability can be maintained. And flooring for the dairy animal houses must be comfortable for the sitting, standing of the animals and also different aspects. And there should be it should not be too slippery. It should not be hard, so that if at all it is hard, it may affect the hoof of the animal. If at all it is soft, means it leads to the slippery of the animals. It may fall down. It leads to some other complications. And with respect to the passages and the roads and other things, that should allow the easy movement of the workers or the laborers in a particular places for feeding and other cleaning aspects, and also for bringing the feed from the different areas. All those things should be considered. We'll go one by one. That is, what is the recommended good practices for housing is preferably the crossbred animals should be housed in a loose houses so that improved productivity can be seen because of the better comfort and the welfare and the aspect of the animals. That is compared to the tie system or the other system. The loose house system is better to have a welfare aspect with respect to the animals. And close housing may be practiced in regions where there is a long day, heavy rainfall is there, or high temperature areas. We can go for close housing, not the loose housing, because we have to maintain the temperature in order to restore the production, in order to have better comfort for the animals. So close housing is better for the high temperature areas as well as heavy rainfall areas to protect the animals from the sunlight or the high temperature as well as from the rain. And usually the dairy animals should not be kept tied around the clock. That is the most important thing. If at all it is tied throughout the day or throughout the different days, means automatically it is against the welfare standard. And usually if at all they tied the animals, means they should be let loose in the yard for the period of 2 to 4 hours for the exercise or socialization with other animals, or they may be allowed for grazing area for a period of 2 to 4 hours. That means minimum of 2 to 4 hours for the exercise and also for the grazing should be allowed in case of closed housing system, because you cannot tie the animals 24 hours or throughout the day, which is against the welfare. And whenever the animals are kept tethered, that is, whenever they are tied, tether means tying of the animals, the ropes or chains should be long enough so that it allows the animals to sit or stand or to sleep. That means it should be long enough to carry out its activities. That is what the important aspect of this housing system. And apart from that, the the tethered animals should be offered good quality of fresh water, that is 3 to 6 times, because they cannot have access to the water all the time. That's why they should be provided with the plenty of water every for every day, 3 to 6 times the water should be provided depending on the climatic condition. If it is with the hot and humid condition, we should provide 6 times a day. If it is the colder climate, you can go for 3 times a day. That is what the water that can be provided. Usually, these tethered cows or buffalo should be untied and allowed for exercise at least once a day. That is, we should give at least 2 to 4 hours of uh, exercise period for these animals. In case of humid regions, the building should be sited as to avoid the natural aeration and the sunlight. But whenever we are constructing the sheds, means we should take into consideration of the what is the ventilation that is, and also the light that can access to the particular house, which should be taken into consideration. Usually, the housing system in case of coastal areas they go for east-west direction, whereas on the dry areas or dry areas they will go for the north-south direction with respect to the uh, housing of the animals. And usually, whenever the seasons with the temperature every 30 or more, up to 5 of day, if at all the temperature is more than 30 degrees Celsius in a day, then automatically during the people will go for the east-west orientation, which is most beneficial, because whenever the more than 5 hours of 30 degree or more than 30-degree temperature is there, means automatically it will have an influence on the animal production, where animal will be under distress, where it leads to the decreased feed intake and also it leads to decreased production also. But if east-west direction means the sunlight doesn't fall directly onto the animals or directly it will not affect the animals. That's why this way direction orientation of the sheds are beneficial, where sunlight will not directly affect the animals. And second one, management of practices as a minimum standard is space requirement apart from housing. Here the floor space and the feeding and watering space, these are the most important things that should be taken into consideration. And the space should be provided for standing, resting, walking, exercise, and also the feeding and watering and ventilation, which is required for the, these are the different spaces that is required for the animal. Here you can see here the different uh, plan for the housing of 20 cows, that is floor plan, that is different space requirement that is necessary for the animal, that is feeding passage, manger, animal standing, and the dung channel, the common milking passage. All the things should be taken into consideration whenever we go for the floor space requirement. And what are the good managemental practices with respect to the floor space management is? That is, we should give them the enough space for the move around and interact with the other animals also. That is most important. As we discussed, the cows and buffaloes also would like to go for the social life. There they should have access to the other animals and to interact. The space allowance for the cattle and buffalo house in the bush should be worked out, taking into consideration of the different parameters like age, sex, and what is the weight of the animal, and behavioral requirement of the different animals, and size of the room. All these things are important whenever we keep the animals in the different houses or in groups, because if it are the Indian groups can be kept more number in case of groups compared to that of the uh, adult animals, whereas only single sex animals can be kept more animals than that of the combination of both sex animals. That means all these things are considered and we can work out for the floor space requirement for the different species of animals and also different uh, animals, that is different categories of animals. Here we can see that floor space requirement under the loose housing system for the different dairy animals. For young cows, it is because it is covered area, it is 1 meter square, whereas open area it is 2 meter square. And for the older cows, that is more than 8 weeks, that is double than that of the younger cows. That is the requirement of floor space. For heifers, we can have the same space like that of the older cows based on the body condition. We can go for up to 5 meter square. Adult cows they require minimum of 3.5 in case of covered area, whereas 7 in case of open area. And buffaloes require more space than that of the cows, that is 4 and 8 in open and covered and open area. And some of the down cows that requires 12 and 20, whereas bulls require in both the areas they require that whole space and bullocks also require the same space. This is the uh, ideal floor space requirement for the animals, and also we have a feeding and watering trough space also for the each categories of animals, which is necessary to maintain the welfare of the animal. And in high temperature areas, the roof must have a minimum height of 16 to 18 feet. Preferably 20 feet is better, because whenever the high temperature, there should be enough height should be there in order to have a ventilation, so that the heat stress will not affect the animals, or heat stress can be minimized through the ventilation of the different to different areas. That is what the preferable height, that is 20 feet. And the roof shall extend at least 2 to 3 feet from the eaves to allow the air protection from the sun and the rain. That means whenever you are constructing the walls of the shed, or the now you are going for the mesh for the walls of the shed, and apart from the walls, we should extend at least 2 to 3 feet from the walls, so that the rain that comes from the other side or the opposite side of the particular shed will not fall directly onto the animals or into the shed. That means we should extend the roofs on the either side of the shed, that is 2 to 3 feet. That is most important to avoid the sunlight as well as the rainfall. And the feed and water troughs should be preferably located under the covered area. That is covered area means where there is a shadow will be there for animals to have water and to feed, and it should be constructed with the bricks lined with the cement concrete, and it should be done U shape in case of, so that animals will not fail the legs, or it will not have contaminate the feed or animals. That should be taken into consideration, and the cubicles should be provided with the enough bedding, keep the animal comfortable and clean. That means cubicles means that is the pens that is meant for keeping the animals with the optimum bedding material. That is what the cubicles. That is what the different aspects of floor space requirement and the maintenance of floor space for the animal welfare. And the next thing is with respect to the management of minimum standards for the number of animals to be housed. Here the number of animals in each group, that is in those house, must not more than the ability of the animal to recognize the hierarchy, or for ensuring the social stability in the group. That is social stability means whenever we keep the animals, whenever there is no dominancy, like uh, the usually the stronger animals will have a dominance over the weaker animals, or the adult animals may have a dominance over the younger animals. That should not be there in case of loose system, because that leads to the again a welfare may be altered. So the same age group of the animals can be kept, same species of animals can be kept to maintain the social stability in the particular house. The number of animals in groups under the loose system we can keep with respect to different categories of animals. In the cows, that is less than 8 weeks, you can keep individual or in groups of below 5, you can keep older cows, you can keep 15, equals 25, and adult 40 to 50, adult buffaloes also same. Whereas dove cows, bulls, and can be kept individually, and bullocks also they can be kept pairs, because usually bullocks will be in pair. And this is what the number of animals that can be kept in the loose house system. This is what the number of animals that can be accommodated in the. And what is the recommended good practice? That means cows to be housed individually for a period of 8 weeks in the calf boxes, that is first 8 weeks, or in groups of 8 cows, so that they will have a good managemental aspect, and also they will have a social life. If the cows are housed in the individual cages or the boxes, they should be let loose in a open air for 2 to 4 hours. That is important for the exercise and socialization. It is important like that of the what we have discussed for the cattle in case of the other housing system, that is the closed house system. Next one, floor space requirement of flooring. The floors in dairy animal houses must allow for the comfortable sitting, standing, that is traction and insulation from the ground. So this bedding material should be provided along with the uh, well flooring. That is, the floor should not be too slippery or should not be slippery. It should not be hard also. If at all it is slippery, means animal may chances of slipping and falling onto the ground, which leads to human complication. Whereas if at all the floor is hard, means automatically it leads to the affection to the roof of the animals. So it should be taken into consideration when constructing the floor for the in a particular shed. And as far as possible, the complete concrete flooring should be avoided in cattle houses. If it is complete concrete flooring, means it affects the roof of the animals. That is the reason why we have to avoid the complete flooring with the concrete. And where floors are made of concrete, about if the entire house is made of concrete floor, means then we have to go for the bedding material. That is, thick bedding material should be used, minimum of 6 inches. We can place the paddy straw or any other straws or waste feed we can waste fodder we can keep, or fodder residues or the carcasses can be used as a bedding material. Because if at all we don't provide the bedding material on these concrete floors, automatically it leads to the aberration to the joints whenever it is um, sleeping and also standing up, and also it leads to the hard work, which is also affecting the animals, that leads to the production losses. And about 1.5 of the open area, that is loafing area, should be preferably structured. That means loafing area means that is meant for standing for the animals without resting or without exercise. They can just roam around the area. That should be structured. That is should be mud, should not be concrete or sand bedded should be there. And so that, and the remaining should be the brick paved should be there, so that the animals can manage in the both the places, that is half brick in the half open structure area, so that the animal welfare can be maintained. The depth of the sand bed should be 6 to 8 inches over the hardened floor. If it is a hardened floor, we can provide the sand bed for the animals in case of structure flooring. There 6 to 8 inches of sand can be placed where it acts as a bedding material in the open area. And the area of sand of 35 square feet per cow is necessary in the system. That is the ideal floor space requirement for the Lugos system. Now we are providing the structure flooring, that is 35 square feet. And the floor should have a gradient of 1 in 40 towards the drain. That is 1 in 40 means that is the gradient, that is the slope we should give for the construction of the floor, so that whenever the animal passes dung or urine, that should easily go to the drainage. That is the intention of keeping the gradient of 1 in 40. That means you should start from the head side of the animal towards the tail side of the animal. You should decrease the floor height of the floor, so that you should go on decreasing the 1 to 1.5 inches lower towards the drainage side, so that the dung and urine passed by the animal will be easily it will go to the drainage. And usually the drainage should be U-shaped, and it should be of 30-meter width and the 6 to 8 centimeter depth should be there, so that each end should be provided with the slope of 1 in 100, where the more slope should be given in case of the drainage compared to that of the floor space, because all the dung and the urine that is coming to the drainage should flow to the outside. That is the idea of having the more slope in case of the drainage than that of the flowing space. And open drains are preferable than that of the closed underground drains, because whenever there is open drainage systems are there, it is easy to clean. Whenever there is a blockage, it is easy to restore the condition. Whereas closed system is underground system is, it is difficult, again it leads to the complication. And with respect to the another minimum standards with respect to the animal passages, the animal passages and roads, alleys and the walkways for the animals as well as the human beings who are working in a particular farm, that should allow for the easy movement with the good traction. That means they should have a easy movement without any hurdles or any other things. The recommended practice that needs to be taken into consideration with respect to the premises, where all the farm premises should have a boundary wall, that is brick wall or fencing iron railing can be done towards the farm in order to protect the animals from the so many untoward incidents or the other aspect of the particular farm. And the walls of the milking cows and the milking buffalo paddocks should be 10 feet wide. That is, there should be centrally placed gates for opening towards the gates should be there. Uh, that is a 10 feet wide. The distance should be there between the paddocks of milking buffalo and the milking cows. That is what the important aspect, so that one can easily move with the feed and other things, and they can take the animals in the particular paddock area for the exercise purpose and other things. So the walls of the calf shed and the equine sheds and the dry cows and the dry buffalo sheds would have a 6 feet wide centrally placed gates, so that opening towards the roads, so that they can take the animals, because these animals are uh, not cows which can be easily walked to the lesser space than that of the milking cows and milking buffaloes, where they will have a more space requirement because of the they are already under stress of production. Automatically, they should be provided with the optimum or ideal space for the walking. So the main gate of the farm premises should be bigger in the way, that is the main gate for the particular farm or a particular uh, business should be 5.5 to 6 meters, so that easy entry of the animals or easy entry of the vehicles should be there, like tractors for unloading of feed and other things, or fodder for taking out the dung and other things from the farm to the outside. That is, there should be a gate that is that space is optimum for movement of the tractors from the other area vehicles. That should be considered. It is also one of the important aspects should be kept in mind while going for the construction of the compound or area for the particular animal uh, farm. And consideration should be given to providing the loading bay and the road ramp that enables for the animals walk right into the out of the vehicles in a right gradient, that is 20% increase. That means another thing is that we should have a platform where we can have the animals can be loaded or unloaded. But a gradient ramp should be made so that animals can easily walk into the particular vehicle, and it can unload it to the particular place, or it can be loaded to the particular place. That is what the ramp should be there. Whenever there is a ramp, the animal easily enter into the vehicle, then it can be transported to anywhere. Whenever the animals are brought into the farm, then we can take out the animals to the ramp. That is one of the important aspect. This means whenever these things are not there, means why these things has to be discussed, means these are also welfare issues that will be considered in case of the animals. If at all there is no ramp, there are chances of animals jumping from the particular vehicle, at least to injury or some other thing. That's why these things should be taken into consideration. This completes the today's session. If at all any doubts or any queries, you can ask.